Well, hey garden friends, it's Destry. Welcome back to my Oregon yard. Today we're going to be cleaning up some zinnias, clearing out some beds, transplanting some Lisianthus, planting some tulip bulbs, clearing out some strawflower, and more. So let's go ahead and get started on today's big clean out of some of my raised garden beds. I'm going to go ahead and start saying goodbye to some of these zinnias. It's a nice dry day and hopefully the sun will come out a little bit. I also have some gomphrena in the front of this bed, which I think I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. And then the Lisianthus, I'm going to cut those back and repot them. So my goal is to work kind of in this area today. I am going to do like one plant at a time. So the first thing I'm going to do is all the zinnias and just open up the beds. I've got one bed that I'm ready to plant tulips in, so I want to get that done this weekend too. But I think I'm just going to start with getting some of this debris out of here. I mean, I shouldn't call it debris. They were lovely, gorgeous plants, and there's still a lot of blooms, but honestly, I just don't think it's getting warm enough. And the plants, you know, they're not healthy enough to like support all the bloom heads that it even has on it. So it's just time to say goodbye. So I'm just going to get in here. I've got this trellis here. I think I'm going to start back here, actually. This one is really leaning over. So we're just going to see if we can, I don't know if I can pull these out. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to get my clipper here. Get these out of here and get my shears. These are insane. So most of the zinnias I planted this year were from the Ben Ray's Giant series. I have found that those ones give you the most bang for your buck. They're really big blooms, really bright colors, and my customers on the flower stand really seem to like them. It's always amazing to me that just one seed can produce such a huge stalk and multi-branching zinnias. Zinnias are one of the easiest flowers to grow for me, and I really enjoy growing them. And take this trellis out. These are some we had put in late in the game just to try to support these. And I was able to get about a couple, 2-3 more harvests off of them before with those supports in. And honestly, I could have left these another couple weeks and just let the frost take them. But the pollinators have settled in for the winter for the most part. I mean, I still see them out and about, but definitely not as much. Now, the one thing is I'm not sure is if I'm going to need to get like a shovel and actually dig these out. They are so in there. Yeah, these are really, and I should be wearing my back brace. And now I'm getting dirt all over the Lisianthus. It's not really my goal here. Well, one of the Lisianthus just came out with that one that I pulled out. Look at this. So again, I'm just going to pot these up and put them in the greenhouse. I'm cutting them down low using this part for the arrangements. They are, I think, considered a tender perennial, so you could perhaps leave them in the bed, but I'm going to be potting them up. So this is all the gomphrena through here, and I don't know if it will overwinter. You know, I kind of don't think so. Oh man, some of these root balls are I just pulled one of those out too. So I guess this is something I could overwinter, but if you look at the plant, they're just, I don't know, these were pretty easy to grow. I do have another bed in the ground of the gomphrena. I could always just like move these over there and then see if they survive the winter or if they come back. But I want to have this bed, you know, this is more of my, not do something different here next year. You know, I liked having this little hedge of the gomphrena. It was really pretty, but I want to make room for tulips. All right, so I'm going to set this guy aside, and then this was the one I was trying to get out of there. Look at this root ball. Holy cow. So, trying to save as much soil as possible. Technically, you could probably leave this in the ground and just let it rot right in the ground, but yeah, look at that. Huge. It's one seed. One seed, two hands. If you've ever listened to Lori Berkner, if you have little kids, put on Lori Berkner. She's great. And she has a song about planting a seed. And it's a beautiful song. Look at this one. Oh my gosh. And I remember listening to it with both my kids. It was one of my favorites. She's good. She was kind of folky. Oh my gosh, I just found a peanut in here. I haven't fed the peanuts to the squirrels since last winter. This has been hanging out in here. All right, I've got gomphrena. Let's try to get more of these stalks out of here. They are just huge. It's kind of satisfying work, but it's definitely hard work. That one out. Oh my gosh. It's like taking half the dirt with it. And the irrigation tube. This time in the garden is always kind of bittersweet for me. I like pulling things out and clearing things out. I'm excited to plant some spring bulbs, but it's always kind of hard to let go of these summer plants. It really means that, winter is coming, all of the blooming season is done for this year. So it kind of makes me a little bit sad. All right, well, here's what we got going on. Pulled all those zinnias out, and I have my row of Lisianthus, and some of them are just, I'm just accidentally pulling stuff out. That's a gomphrena, but here's Lisianthus that actually came out. So I'm just going to be cutting these back. I'm going to leave them, kind of long-ish. I don't know. We're going to have to see. I'm going to pot them up, but the first thing I'm going to do is come in and I'm going to take all this, the top part off. I can use it as filler in bouquets. It still has a really pretty look to it, although now it's got dirt on it. Darn it. So anyway, I'm going to go in and clip it all, and then I'm going to dig it all up and put it in some little pots. I'm not sure about the gomphrena yet. I might be doing a similar thing, but just throwing it all in a tray and then taking it to a different part of the garden and sort of cutting it back and replanting it and seeing what happens. But here's all the zinnias I pulled out, and some of the root balls were just huge. So you can see I had some things in my wheelbarrow, but then now I need to go dump it before I try to do the next patch. So I'm just going to keep working on this bed though. So the other things I have in this bed are we have some beets that my son actually planted from seed. And so I've got the beets here. So, I could harvest these at any time. And then I've got the green beans, and I think that they are done. They're done. I didn't get a very great harvest off of them, but we ate off them probably twice. But you can see they're ready to go. So I might just continue to work on this bed. I do kind of want to get the rest of the zinnias out though. So, since I am trying to deal with this Lisianthus, I think I'm just going to do it. The longer it stays in the ground, the more chance I have of it freezing. And so I'll do this patch of it, and then I'll do my other raised bed and see about overwintering it. So I'm excited for that. So this is actually the second little patch of Lisianthus that I'm going to be trying to overwinter in the greenhouse. Here you can see I'm just cutting all the stalks, and I'm going to be digging these up. Now, again, this is a total experiment. I'm not sure if this is going to work this year, but if it does, I would have some really nice mature Lisianthus plants for next season. All right, so I grabbed some pots, and I'm just out here just lifting these Lisianthus and just potting them up really quick. I I don't know that they will all survive this process, but I have probably a better chance of them surviving in the greenhouse than I do in the ground, just depending on what kind of winter we get. And, you know, my goal with this, my thinking is, you know, if I can put these plants back in the garden somewhere else next year, they will be that much farther along. They'll be more robust. They'll give me more blooms. I can move up where I'm putting them and in what garden bed now that I know a little bit more about growing them. It's my first season doing these as seedlings. This one I'll have to cut back quite a bit more. It's too tall. Where's my clippers? Anyway, so I think that's what I'm going to do, kind of protect my investment of time and, you know, caring for the seedlings, because the base of the plant and the root of the plant, you know, that's what needs to carry over. It doesn't necessarily need to be here in this garden bed. So a few of these plants actually had like 2 and 3 plants in one area. So here you can see I'm just separating these out to give them the best chance as I'm potting them up. But several of them I was able to separate and get a few more plants out of it. And here's the final result, an entire tray of Lisianthus seedlings that I can pop in the greenhouse, try to overwinter, and then put back in the garden next season. These were a beautiful purple color, and I would love to have them in my garden next year. You can see this opened up a ton of room in this bed. My goal today is to get everything out of here. So next I'm going to start on my green beans. I'm going to take out some of this trellising that I had tried to put in place. My green beans didn't get a whole lot of sun and a whole lot of time this year, so it was kind of an uneventful crop for me. So let me know in the comments, do you like to grow flowers or food? Or both? I find myself growing all kinds of different things and trying different things, but I try to only grow the food that I think my kids will actually eat. All right, so I think I'm going to go ahead and pull out this gomphrena. And I think my plan with this is I'm just going to pop it in this tray for now. And then I will either repot it like I did the Lisianthus, or I'm going to just be transplanting this into a different garden bed. These plants are pretty big, but the root balls aren't too big. So I'm thinking about putting these in one of my perennial beds. See if I can get them to come back next year. But I don't want them in this spot. So I'm just going to quickly remove this little hedge that I had. I enjoyed these so much. They make a great dried flower. What are you doing today?
We are pulling out beets.
Yes. And who planted these beets?
Me.
Yeah. And when they started, what were they?
They were just seeds, tiny seeds, like about like this small.
Like really small.
I know.
Okay. All right, well, get to it. You gonna pull them out of there?
Those like seeds, like I don't know.
Show us how to pull them out.
Okay, so you get them from. Oh, this one is really big. Okay. Look, this one is actually really big.
Yeah. Wow.
It was literally showing you from the outside.
Yeah, and then that part on the bottom is what we eat, huh? Those are the beets.
That one's already pulled out.
Yeah, you might have to step into the garden bed. Yeah, some of them are popping out. Hey!
This one is already pulled out or something.
Was it already pulled out a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them kind of came up out of the ground a bit. All right, time to get up in there. You still have a few right there that are close. There you go, that row. See the row?
Okay.
Did you know that this was what the beets would look like when you planted the seeds?
This one is so tiny.
Let me see. Oh my gosh, that's just a root. Wait, are beets roots?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, they're a root vegetable, aren't they? You gonna come around the other way? Try to get some of the big ones? You might have to step up into there. Your shoes can get a little muddy, it's okay.
I know. Okay.
Time to get the big ones.
this one is a big one.
Yeah? Let's see. Oh, there it goes into the tray. Okay, keep going. You're almost done.
Oh, this one is giant. It has 2.
It does?
Look.
Look. Oh my gosh. That's wild.
It has 3.
3 beets? Oh no.
3. It's a mutation.
All right, into the tray. Good job. If they don't make it in the tray, I'll grab them. Good job. Shake, shake, shake. Shake all the dirt off. Try to shake it. There you go. Good job. So after I had my little helper in the garden pull out all of the beets, it was back to the zinnias. Here, I'm going to be cutting them down first and then pulling out the root balls. I found that that was the easiest way to tackle this project. This patch was a beautiful dark burgundy purple color, and I absolutely loved them. I still have some seeds left over from last season that I will try to replant this year, and I'm hoping to grow this variety again. With some of these beds cleared out now, it was time for bulb planting. I love this bit for my drill. It has like an auger on it. It's just a little attachment which makes bulb planting go so much faster. So here I'm starting out by just making a lot of holes for some tulip bulbs. Right, so I'm going to be planting these up tonight. These are the Tulip Double Early Royal. They're purple, and it says 6 inches deep and about 5 inches apart, grows 14 inches tall, sun to part shade, and it blooms early spring. So I'm going to be getting as many of these in here as I can, and I have one other bag if I run out. I love planting bulbs this time of year. You know, it's something that has immediate gratification, but just knowing that in the spring, all of these are going to emerge from the soil when it warms up, and I'm going to have a beautiful, glorious show and tons of cut flowers. It's really exciting. One thing I don't love about this kind of planting, it is a little hard on my back. So I am still gardening with my back brace. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I injured my back recently. So again, watching some of this footage back makes me realize how much I am bending over during this whole process. So that back brace is really important. I got some bulbs planted here. That big bag got me to about right here. So you can see I have about a third of the bed left. And I'm thinking about doing some allium there. Now that particular spot gets a lot of shade due to some of the trees and stuff up here. So I don't know, I might hold off on that and work on the other beds. I'm actually working on this area. So I got this area all pulled up, but what I'm working on now, you guys, is we had put these boards underneath our garden beds at one point, and now I am trying to get them out of there. So this is what I have been lifting. I have been digging these boards out. These are our old garden bed, and unfortunately it just wasn't a good plan. So you can see what happened is it blocked, you know, all the native soil. So I've got more boards to dig out of here. I've dug those 3 out so far, and I'm going to be digging the rest out because it just didn't work out. I mean, the plants can't get, you know, further down in. So my plan is to get this bed all ready and to plant the other big bag, the golden bag that I have, the yellow bag. I have another bag of tulips there. So I think I'm about putting those here. And again, hopefully it would get me to about a third of this garden bed. The only thing left in this garden bed, you guys, is my heirloom mums, which are just beautiful and opening, and I could probably harvest them at any time. I'm going to be digging those plants up like the Lisianthus and overwintering them, but I also have this patch of status, and I think I'm going to go ahead and pull this out tonight, or today I should say, as well, just to kind of get it cleared out of here, and hopefully plant a few more tulips today. All right, so these are the tulips that I'm going to be planting in this bed. These are a Darwin hybrid. Pink Impression is the name of them. They're from Longfield. I've got all my holes drilled My bed is all prepared. And now I'm just going to get in here and start popping tulip bulbs in. So behind me in this footage, you can see a little white birdhouse on a stand. Now, one of my neighbors gifted this to me, and I haven't really featured it in any videos yet. It's a little run down and needs some TLC and repair. So stick around. I might be doing a little makeover job on this soon. Once all the bulbs were in the ground, I just used my rake to sort of cover them up. I will be adding some mulch and topsoil to this bed as well. Then I laid my irrigation tubing back down in place. So one of the last big clean out areas I have in my garden, in my raised garden beds, are these strawflower. This patch of strawflower got absolutely huge, and I've really enjoyed it. Here you can see I'm pulling out the plants, but I'm also harvesting. So I'm going through and clipping any last blooms that I can dry or use for fresh arrangements. So today was certainly a busy day in my garden. All of my raised beds have the summer annuals gone at this point, and all of them are planted up with spring blooming bulbs. I also planted some garlic this fall, and I have some other videos about planting garlic. I'll try to link those for you below. One thing I've noticed about working with strawflower is they're kind of sticky. They have sort of a sticky sap to them, which is why my hummingbirds like them so much. But I definitely like to wear gloves when I'm clipping them or working with them. And you guessed it, more bulbs are going in. These are all going to be gorgeous, beautiful daffodils. Now, the daffodil addition to my garden was kind of a last-minute call. I didn't have quite enough tulips to fill all the beds, so I just ran down to my local hardware store and grabbed some daffodils. So you can see this is just a mixed variety of lots of different types of daffodils. I'm just going to pop them in this bed, and I'll have some gorgeous blooms in the spring. Now, I did use my auger to make holes, but I usually push down the bulbs as well. Once I get them all placed, you want to make sure they're about, I would say about 6 inches deep. So I do go back later after I film this video and I added more topsoil to these beds. So here you can see me kind of pushing them down into the soil. It feels really good and satisfying to have all these beds cleared out of the summer annuals and bulbs planted up. I was able to do 1 or 2 last harvests of my flowers for the flower stand, and here's a little image showing all of the things that I was using this week to make arrangements. Thanks for hanging out with me in the garden today, guys. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, could you like and subscribe? And if you need me, I'll be doing some gardening. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.